All right, up next we have Matt Talbot. We'll do a comedy routine. And on deck,
We have
Peter
Goodman. Woo! Go Matt.
It'll look second best this year, but we'll see what happens. So, everyone who's ever been accused of blaspheming against Meher Baba in one of their comedy routines, feel free to take a step forward right now. Not so fast, the rest of you. Yeah, it's true. I've been accused by multiple Baba people on multiple Baba coasts of blasphemy. And I even took a joke out of today's routine to avoid further blasphemy, which I'm happy to talk at another later time. But these people were serious. I mean, not Myrtle Beach witch trials serious, but they were serious. I mean, they weren't going to like burn me at the stake or anything, which, by the way, that would have probably been the worst dooming ever. It's really tough to give anything up to Baba over my shrieks of agony. Some people disagree, I guess. That's fine. Let's never figure out if that's the case. All right? Let's just nix that whole idea. And it wasn't like I had done anything truly egregious, like I said, you know, Baba was on all planes, but just beyond a few of the planes. Or he was, you know, knowledge infinite, bliss infinite, and that's really about it. No, what I had done was interrupt about 100 Baba people, and it was very similar to this, and I meant very similar to this, from doing the entire Master's Prayer. Let me explain. All right? I know that sounds bad at the outset. I know, but there's an explanation here. I had a joke I did a couple years ago, a call and response bit that led to about basically you guys doing the entire Master's Prayer. Now, I never thought in a million years 100 Baba people together could do the entire Master's Prayer. I mean, I've never been to an RD ever, obviously. And that's probably my own insecurity, because when I do the Master's Prayer, it's usually something like, "Oh, Pravartigar, line, you know, preserver, protector of, where do I go from here?" That's just my own insecurity. People felt that was blasphemous, and I get that. Although in many ways it was probably the least blasphemous time I've ever done the Master's Prayer. Because usually I'm not paying attention at all. And I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to be clear, and that did not land the way I wanted it to, so I'm in judgment right now. You know, usually it's like, "Oh, Pravartigar, preserver and protector of something." Does no one else notice this very, this is what I'm saying, a baby, I guess. What I'm looking for, a shiny thing over here. No one, am I the only one who sees that? You know, "Oh, Pravartigar, preserver and protector of," you know, jokes about life preservers would be funny. That's something I should really work on. And then by that point, they're already at Ezod. You know, that's the whole thing, really. And when they do, they only give me like 10 minutes, like a tight 10 minutes. I mean, I blow through and do 15 every year, but I tell them I only do 10 every year. And they buy it every year. So I can't waste 80% of my time on one prayer. I mean, I could say like the Beloved God prayer. That takes 20 seconds, really. But the Master's Prayer takes quite some time. So I had to cut them off. I had no choice. So let me apologize to the people who I can tell are not in this room right now, and anyone else who might have felt I was blasphemous that evening. I don't have time to be blasphemous anymore. I have a baby now. You might have heard her over like most of the last 5 acts. And if there are more than 5 acts, then most of the rest of the night. And it's a situation where before my schedule might have said, 3 to 5 light blasphemy, 5 to 7 dinner, maybe 7 to 9, a little more blasphemy to close out the night. But these days I don't have time to do that. I don't know if anyone else here is raising kids in a Baba family. Looking forward to making the exact same mistakes all our parents made. But the one thing I never wanted to do, I'm already making many of them. I already made one of them at the start. The one thing I never wanted to do was give my children a Baba name when I was growing up. I would have been happy with anything else. Anything. They could have filmed a movie to assassinate the North Korean dictator with James Franco, and I'd been fine with that. As long as it wasn't like Erich Talbot out there. Hindu Talbot, Feel free to forget that joke that gave me it earlier when I get to this bit right now. But anyways, Really poor timing on my part, thanks a lot. But so what did we do? We named my daughter, first name Monty Ann, middle name Narina, last name Talbot, for perhaps the only time there's been a 50% Baba name. We have 33%, we have 66, but I don't know of any other 50% Baba name people out there. Feel free to yell out if your name is 50% Baba. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. What is your name?
Joshua Merwan Prasad, so I got you. Sharer.
Wait, what's your last name?
Sharer.
That's like Sherryar. That's a 75% Baba name. You do not. If you're going to come with the king, you better not miss. What's your name?
Mariah John Connor.
Oh. Okay, that's 33%. South Carolina education system. Doing great. So 50%, and what I realized is that the acronym for her name is MANT, which is one middle name away from being Matt, which would be a true, sort of explanation of my own vanity. But it's MANT, which means if we change her last name to something starting with the letter I, her acronym would be her first name, Mani. Which is why I'm happy to tell my wife for the first time we're legally changing her last name to Arani. I probably should have alerted you to this at some point, Elizabeth, prior to this moment, but for comedic sake, I didn't. And everything's already been issued by the judge. So I'm sorry. I'm now Matthew Arani, Mani and Marina Arani. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be a major problem when she's in middle, having a Baba name, because Baba people are the trendsetters of weird. We're like weird hipsters, which is to say hipsters. And, it's a situation where, a lot of people who maybe were my generation growing up had Baba names were embarrassed, maybe in middle school, when they were taking roll, they would say something like, is Tim here? Is Lisa here? Is Joe here? Is there a Mihera present? And you didn't want to be, you didn't in any way, pointed out by anybody in middle school. You didn't want them to be sitting there, is there an Aruch here? Aruch? Could Aruch just raise his hand so we could laugh at him? Is that possible? I know that I'm the teacher in this situation, but I also find it funny. Yeah, making up for that shiny thing earlier, I know. But in 2028, or whatever insane year it's going to be when she's in middle school, the names are all going to be equally, if not more, as weird. It'll be, is Jackson here? Is Jaden here? Is Aiden here? Is Clayton here? Is Maiden here? Is Frayden here? Is Jared with a Y here? Is Elijah Schmago here? So when they get to Mara, when they get to Erich, that'll be the most normal name out there. By far. I can't think of a more normal name at this point, except for perhaps Francis. He just walked in, so I'm just saying that. I didn't really mean that. But having children changes you, and that's a cliche, but I'm going to say it anyways. And one thing that I realized I had to do was get life insurance. I don't know if anyone here has life insurance. I'm probably going to need that after I insulted the right people earlier in the night. But I did get life insurance, and it made me think about my own funeral, which I don't know if a lot of people think about their own funeral. Yeah. It's a somber thought, yes. I know Raph has thought about it well. Usually a split second as it appears his life is about to end. But I realized there's going to be a lot of people coming to my funeral who have no idea what this whole situation is. There's a lot of people who are normies, as I call them, who think I'm Jewish. And that's technically true. I'm Jewish by heritage. It's not like I'm lying to them. I'm just omitting key facts or provide important context to the situation. And so they're going to, I'm going to die, hopefully in 2080 or something, at the ripe old age of 99. And they're going to come to my funeral. They're going to think, I can't wait to go to the funeral of noted Hebrew Matthew Talbot and be greeted with a rousing, round of victory unto and they're just going to be blown away. I realize it's going to be so friggin' weird for these people. And that's why I want to put it in my will. I don't know if you know anyone who does wills or trusts. in the California region, and he's doing stand-up right now, which is why my rates are very reasonable. But I want to have the most Baba-y funeral ever. I want to have the Bobbiest funeral to ever Baba in the history of Baba-y funerals. And I don't know who has the record right now, but I want to beat it. I want to top it. I want to have the most chai tea ever served at a funeral, and I love you for biting my joke, Gabriel. I want to have chai tea fountains just pouring left and right. I want to have a hologram of Baba and every Mandali member. They can do it for Tupac, they can do it for Pendu, they can do it for Anno 104, they can do it for Bar Soap, and I'm not going to list every single one because I don't know all the names. But if I did, I would do that, just to blow through my 10 minutes, because I'm a terrible person. I want to have, because this plays into what I talked about earlier, and you always want to have those sort of things in comedy routines, the entire Master's Prayer wrapped around my sarcophagus. Now, of course, normally you're buried in a coffin, but it's the Master's Prayer, so you could have a sarcophagus. They're a larger type of coffin, usually gilded, maybe engraved, I don't know. The font, probably Comic Sans. The most Baba of all the fonts. It's not too seriously, you know? And so, thus ends the funeral bit. No, that's not the end. That's not the end. There is still more. And that more also pertains to my daughter, because now that I have a daughter, I think it's going to be difficult for me to do Silence Day. You know, but I am here. I know, everyone just get that out of yourself right now. Just, all right, blah, blah, blah. That's the basic thrust of the joke I'm about to make. Because I'm here to tell you that I did a few years ago, completely and totally successfully keep silence for up to 1 day.
I don't think so.
No comments from the peanut gallery, please. But that is correct. I am now 1 for 34. Thank you very much. Yes, another round of applause. For what is basically total failure. It's tough keeping silence when you have almost anything else in the world to talk to. Alright? And I don't know if you're like me and you basically do something stupid when you blow it. You're like, oh, here's my cat, I'm going to tickle her stomach or something. Then you go, bellies! And I don't know. That's what I do. That's the stupid. And now with my daughter, I'm just going to start singing like, Money and his, and I'm going to blow it. And I don't know if Baba did the same thing, like he was tickling Chummy the puppy's stomach and went, bellies! Oh! What my silence? What was I doing? I don't know. I know that every avatar gets one mistake, and maybe that was the mistake. Chummy the puppy had a good stomach. I know that. I've seen the photos. I've reviewed the evidence. Now, I think the most pathetic silence I ever had, I lasted 7 total minutes. Now, in my defense, I spoke at 12:07 a.m. So is that the night before, or does that count as Silence Day? This is a problem that I will in many ways leave historians to decide. And I'm sure they will consider it. But the fundamental question is, how do you define Silence Day? Is it midnight to midnight?
Yeah.
Alright, I don't like a lot of you, but that's fine. Is it, and feel free to clap on this one because people just like to clap, I guess. Is it when you wake up on July 10th, which I presume is the date, to when you go to bed on the same day? Anyone? Or do you guys side with my own personal view, which is when you wake up the day of to midnight.
Yeah.
India Standard Time. It's an hour and a half. It's a solid, like, hour and a half of a solid. I mean, I'm still 1 for 34. Still a solid batting, like, .057. So anyways, I just wanted to thank you guys very much. I really appreciated the opportunity to give some comedy to you this evening. And I hope you have a great evening.
Yeah.
You never let us down, Matt.